Here we are at 1:45, going ahead to start our meeting. I apologize, we are starting late. Hopefully we'll move through this fairly quickly. So we are calling to order at 1:45. We'll have a couple special recognitions. We'll have credentials, rules, presentation. Not only are we going to review our nonpartisan policy, but we will be reviewing our diversity policy, our proposed budget, our nominating committee. Then we'll introduce, after we voted everybody in, you'll have a chance to meet them in our proposed program. So that's all of the things that we have to vote on. And then we'll talk, we'll basically adjourn the official meeting, but have some non-official things that we'll continue to talk about. Okay, so I just want to start by welcoming everybody. Again, I'm Heidi Graham, and I am your president, have been your president for the last 2 years of the League of Women Voters of Arlington Heights, Mount Prospect, Buffalo Grove, Elk Grove Village, Prospect Heights, and Wheeling. So really, that's the only requirement to be president, is that you can say all 6 of those without stuttering. I really thank everybody for your patience during this time. I know that this is not ideal to be having our annual meeting virtually. And while we could have tried to postpone it until the fall, I think that it was the decision to go ahead as planned, but virtually, I think is going to be the right one. Because at this point, no one knows what's going to happen. And we want to keep our members safe, while we're also still trying to meet our core mission, which is to empower voters and defend democracy. One of the things that I'm most grateful for in our league is the culture that we have of forgiveness and kindness. I listened to the CEO of the Chicago Foundation for Women. Her name's Felicia Davis. She's a very inspiring woman, but she had given a brief presentation at the beginning of COVID-19, where she talked about nonprofits absolutely having to have a culture in which we were willing to take risks. That if we're not willing to make mistakes and take risks, we're not going to make any progress. And if our goal is to make progress in those communities that I listed off, as well as in our larger world, we all have to be willing to make mistakes and sometimes fall flat on our face. And so I'm grateful that we have a culture in our league where we all feel that we can do that, and that instead of being chastised for making a mistake, what we get instead is a hand reached out to us to help lift us up and to help make us better. I think that that's really important, and I'm very, very grateful for it. Anybody who's had any meeting with me in the last 6 months is tired of hearing it, but my motto is progress, not perfection. I do believe that trying for perfection inhibits progress. I believe that very strongly, though we all want to be perfect. I'm not saying we don't want to strive for perfection, but if we are striving for that and having that be a barrier to progress, then in my estimation, we've done no good. So the first thing that I want to do, and we'll go to the next screen, is I want to recognize a couple of members. So this last year we did this in a sort of semi-official way, but this year we decided the annual committee meeting, or the annual meeting committee, thank you, decided that we were going to formalize these things. And so that basically we were going to have a league rough cut. That's just another word for a member who's been with us for less than 10 years, which is most of us and most of you. I think I've hit at least 10 years at this point. And then our league gem, somebody who's been with the league for over 10 years. So why gem? Why did they get a sapphire paperweight? because any of you who knows the history of League, and you might not know, so I'm going to tell you. The history of League is that when Carrie Chapman Catt first founded the League, she didn't have any money, and we all know this is a free organization, though it isn't free to put on our programs. She had been gifted or willed a sapphire worth quite a bit of money, and she sold it, and that was the seed money for the League of Women Voters. And so I thought it was appropriate to have this small gift honoring the people who have gotten that. So for our League rough cut is Tracy McGonigal. So Tracy, can we highlight your video just real quick? If you want to say something, please do. I'm not going to make you. But Tracy joined our League just a few years ago, right away took over our book club, which has brought us many members and has really made us stronger in that it gives us this great opportunity to talk to each other about things that we care about. And then became our vice president. And I will tell you, she has been instrumental in making our League stronger and better and more organized. She's very good at the details, and our board is so grateful to have her be a part of that. So join me in congratulating Tracy, and she has the host now, so I can't highlight her video because she is the only one who can do it, and she's refusing to do it. So hopefully, there she is. Okay, thank you. There's Tracy. You're muted. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to learn how to do all this at the same time. No, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And, just so happy to be part of this organization. And, like you say, it's a team of people. We have so many wonderful volunteers. So I feel really blessed to receive this award. And this is what it looks like. So thank you for also explaining it. I didn't quite understand the meaning behind it. So thanks.
All right, and then for our League gem, somebody who has volunteered been with our League for over 10 years is Gilda Carew. So Gilda is somebody who doesn't just volunteer for our League at candidate forums and voter registration drives and all of those core things, but she also volunteers for other leagues. She's one of the most sought after candidate forum moderators in the state. And so during that season where people are going on, need to have a moderator for their nonpartisan candidate forums, Gilda is quite busy. She does a lot for other organizations, not just ours, but she also heads up our bylaws committee. And thank goodness, because anybody who's been on our board for any length of time knows that our bylaws and bylaws in general make me kind of want to poke my eyeballs out. They drive me a little crazy. And so I'm very grateful to Gilda for keeping them straight. So Tracy, could you spotlight Gilda's, so Gilda's on her phone, so we don't have a video, but Gilda, can you unmute yourself? Or let me see if I can unmute you if you want to.
Okay, okay, I'm unmuted, yeah. Thank you very much, appreciate it.
So we're so happy and grateful for you.
Well, I'm really glad to be part of League, and the skills I've gained through League over many, many years, they've served me in other organizations too. So anyway, but I appreciate being appreciated. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Gilda. All right, so then the next thing on our agenda is, I think, is it our meeting minutes? Barb has already credentialed everybody who's on the meeting as voting members, correct, Barb? Can we unmute Barb?
Oh, yes, it's fine. Everybody's good.
Everybody on the meeting is a credentialed member and able to vote.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay. And then the next thing on the, so now
Excuse me?
Yes.
For the record, how many members do we have on
34.
participating? How many?
34 participants.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. 34 participants in this meeting able to vote. Okay, so now we need to have our annual meeting rules. So what, we put these up at the beginning. I will quickly go over them. Only members may vote and have the privilege of the floor, so everybody here is in that position. Rules, these particular rules can only be suspended by a 2/3 vote. Don't make me do the math. Debate shall be limited to 2 minutes per speaker. No one shall speak more than once to a question until all who desire the privilege of the floor have spoken. Consideration of program, recommended items shall be presented first. Non-recommended items shall be presented immediately after the recommended program. A motion for consideration on non-recommended items is necessary, and after the motion has been moved and seconded, the sponsor presenting the item makes up to a 3-minute statement in explanation of the reason for asking consideration. This motion is not debatable and requires a majority vote. Only questions for clarifications are entertained at this time. So that particular rule will come up when we go over our program. I will say that we have a fairly broad scope for program. Those of you who are new to League, you may be saying, what the heck is program and what is she talking about? Basically, our program is the issues that League has a stance on, that we as a local league decide we want to focus on. And by focusing on, that means advocacy, that means education. So those two things means, you know, actual events. So maybe we decide as part of our program that climate is something we want to focus on. So then we can advocate on it. We can have educational events on it, and we can publish about it. Discussion of program items. Each item shall be addressed separately in order of presentation. Adoption of program. The program will be adopted by a vote taken on each item in the order in which it was presented. Non-recommended items require a 2/3 majority. That's if we change anything in how it's presented. We're going to use Robert's Rules of Orders, which hopefully I will use properly. I frequently, Peggy almost always has to correct me. So voting, the chair, and unless otherwise directed by voting members, shall decide which method of voting shall be employed. By voice, where members vote by saying aye or no, or by raising hand, where members vote by clicking raise hand in the online meeting. So we will have to use, I'm technically the chair of this meeting, and we will have to use a combination of those two things because some people don't have the raise hand. A member may click, and Bill Slankard also knows Robert's Rules of Order, so he will help me as well. A member may click the raise hand in the online meeting to request a point of order, a point of information, a parliamentary inquiry, or a question of privilege. You can also use the chat, and you can also just unmute yourself. We want everyone to be heard here today. We don't want anyone to feel as if they were not heard. And the elections, the credential chairperson, who was Barb Sabai, shall present a final report to the membership before the election procedure begins, which she's already done. Okay, so moving on. So I need a motion to accept our proposed meeting rules.
I move.
Okay, Lisa Slankard has moved for our proposed meeting rules to be accepted. I need a second.
Second.
Peggy has seconded that motion. All those in favor, either aye or raise or click yes.
Aye.
And if you're no, click no. Anyone needing an auditory vote? All those in favor, aye.
You have to unmute us.
Okay.
You can unmute yourself.
Yes, people
Yes,
can't
I'm
unmute.
muted.
Yes.
Aye.
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 Anyone
Aye.
opposed, please say nay. And one of the things I apologize for is after the motion was presented, I should have opened for any discussion, which it did not. I apologize, but I don't think anybody wanted to discuss anything. So we will,
Oops.
give me co-host.
Sorry, I am muted. I am mute. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so the proposed meeting rules accepted as presented. So then the next thing that we have to do is our presentation of the annual meeting minutes. So you will all receive these meeting minutes in advance of today's meeting. So I need a motion to accept the 2019 meeting minutes.
I move that we accept the 2019 meeting minutes.
Cindy Rising has moved that we accept the meeting minutes. I need a second.
Second.
I don't know who that was.
Oh, Nancy Jones was one.
Thank you. Nancy Jones has seconded. Is there any discussion about our meeting minutes? No discussion on our meeting minutes. All those in favor, please click yes. If you're in, if you do not agree, click no. If you are on audio only, please unmute yourself. All those in favor, aye.
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 All those opposed, nay.
Should I?
The meeting minutes are accepted as presented. The next thing on the agenda is our nonpartisan policy. Nope, I'm a big fat liar. Is our diversity policy, or is it?
Sorry.
Diversity policy. Go.
Diversity.
Diversity policy. Now this was, you were not given either the diversity policy or the nonpartisan policy. So y'all can read, but I am going to read it aloud for people who do not have this video. So sorry, you've got to listen to me some more. Diversity policy, which was adopted in May of 2018. The League of Women Voters of the Arlington Heights, Mount Prospect, Buffalo Grove area, in both its values and practices, affirms its belief and commitment to diversity and pluralism, which means there shall be no barriers to participation in any activity of the League of Women Voters of the Arlington Heights, Mount Prospect, Buffalo Grove area on the basis of gender, race, color, creed, age, sexual orientation, national origin, or disability. The League of Women Voters of the Arlington Heights, Mount Prospect, Buffalo Grove area recognize that diverse perspectives are important and necessary for responsible and representative decision-making. The League of Women Voters of the Arlington Heights, Mount Prospect, Buffalo Grove area subscribes to the belief that diversity and pluralism are fundamental to the values it upholds, and that this inclusiveness enhances the organization's ability to respond more effectively to changing conditions and needs. The League of Women Voters of the Arlington Heights, Mount Prospect, Buffalo Grove area affirms its commitment to reflecting the diversity of the local area in its board and programs. So I'm going to put everybody in rooms for, or no, Tracy's going to have to do it. Put you in rooms for a couple of minutes to see if you have anything that you feel needs to be added to this or discussed over the next year. Yes?
Heidi, I'm going to make you host again because I'm not sure about breaking into rooms.
Okay. Can you just make me co-host? Or?
I'm going to make you the host.
Okay. Huh. Now I'm not getting. Oh. There we go.
I hit the wrong one again.
Did y'all go to your breakout rooms and then come back out? No. Okay, so the question is there anything that needs to be discussed regarding our diversity policy? Oh no, I don't have everybody back yet, unless I lost a bunch of people. There we go. I wonder if we lost people.
Is it back on screen share, Heidi?
Yes, ma'am. Awesome, great job, thank you. Okay, so is there anything that we feel like we need to discuss when it comes to
I'd like to bring up an issue.
Okay,
Oh,
Do you want me to speak now?
yes, please.
Okay, so I was with, when we co-hosted an event with Braver Angels, we held it at the library, and we had somebody contact us about accommodations for hearing impairment. And we were really a bit panicked about how to respond to that. So although this is all good, what's in our policy, there may be times when we can't meet the barriers. And what would we do about that?
So then the diversity policy probably will need to be amended to address that. Are you saying, Madeline?
Well, if that's possible, I mean, I don't know if we can say, you know, within our ability or what. I mean, it was very awkward because the guy that was co-hosting with me is a lawyer and has dealt with these kinds of issues, and he was even a bit nervous. I mean, we were able to come up with something, but you know, that was in that situation, and it, you know, and I don't even know what other issues might come up with other kinds of different ability.
Yeah.
So we just need a plan that we, you know, we don't have a big budget.
No, we don't. And I know interpreters are not inexpensive.
Right. And that's just one example. So we need something, and I don't know if we have to decide it now so we can vote on it, but you know,
I wonder if there are any interpreters who are a member of the league who would be able to.
Yeah, but that's the
Provide.
problem, is to rely on that. I mean, you can't say from, you know, maybe we say now we have somebody who's an interpreter, but in 2 years, the point is you need this diversity policy to hopefully not have to be changed every 5 seconds, right?
Is there a way we could put something in to because we can't count on a volunteer, so we could put in a budget for it or something if necessary. I don't know if that goes in the policies or not.
Heidi?
Yeah.
Hi, I guess I'll be introduced to more people later. I'm new, but I think there's, I have several credentials for being a part of this group. I did used to practice law for a long time, and I run a nonprofit, and I think there's two things that can be done with this that are fairly simple that would prevent any need for any kind of consistent investment. So one is just to change the impetus of the no barriers to be more of a moral imperative. So more about sort of the moral position of the league as opposed to an action guided type of phrasing that indicates that there shall be no barriers, meaning that like we are then on the hook for barriers that might come up. And it could be a different barrier, it could be a language barrier. There are all sorts of barriers. An undefined phrase like that, if this actually comes to national policy, that's kind of interesting to me because it's not very careful. And so I think that phrasing can be changed. And then if you have the caveat of we'll do our best to make everything as accessible as possible in whatever the right language is, then it can be more encompassing, then it can be more inclusive. The language can be very broad if we're making our reasonable best efforts, and our moral position is that we do not have barriers to inclusion.
Is there anything else? Anyone else? Because what I would say then is that we need to, and I don't know how this works. Here's where I have zero idea. But I think that we do not vote on this diversity policy, that we remove it, and we say that between now and our next annual meeting, we we amend this diversity policy to address this particular issue. Does anyone else have anything to say?
I agree with that.
So then I would need a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Wait a minute. Heidi?
Yes, Robin.
This is Robin.
Thank you.
I got this is kind of trying to dig back into my brain, but I was under the impression that we had to have a diversity policy by the League of Women Voters of the U.S. And so I wonder if not voting on it is not a good thing, but voting on it and adopting it with the understanding or direction that there will be revisions to be voted on the next time might be the way to go. I don't know if that's an appropriate way to handle it, but it's a thought I have.
Right.
Robin, don't we have, I mean, we have the policy already adopted. We're not, if we don't vote on doesn't, don't think.
My understanding is that we don't, it's already been adopted.
Right.
So we don't have to re-adopt it.
Right.
We don't need to reaffirm it.
We don't need to reaffirm it.
Okay.
But now what we need is a motion to say, somebody help me with this wording, that
I move that we address the issues that were brought up with respect to different diversity, language, physical ability.
But I think the point is our ability to actually address it.
Right.
So
Is this a national position?
The national, so several years ago, the National League said we had to have a diversity policy. They didn't give us one. Now, whether they have one now that we could just be adopting, I don't know. Maybe I should know the answer to that, but I don't. So I think the motion is the diversity policy as adopted. Okay, The motion is that we move to revise our diversity policy to be both more inclusive and also enforceable pursuant to limitations outside of our control.
I like that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay, so Corrine Fior has made that motion. And so I need a second.
I'll second it, Madeline.
Madeline seconds it. All those in favor, please raise your hand. By the way, we're down to 33 participants. I don't know who we've lost, but we have lost a couple people.
Heidi, can you give me that magic sentence again?
Yes, I can. It's in the chat, by the way.
Oh, okay.
We move to revise our diversity policy to be both more inclusive and also enforceable pursuant to limitations outside of our control. If you don't have audio, I need you to please unmute yourself. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, now moving on to the nonpartisan policy. Which, did I mail this to everybody?
No.
No, so I gotta read it. Oh, good grief. Okay, here we go. The nonpartisan policy, the League of Women Voters, a nonpartisan political organization, does not support or oppose any party or candidate, but may act on governmental measures and policies in the public interest. Members are cautioned not to reference their league affiliation when expressing personal political viewpoints or promoting political agendas in any form, including social media. The League of Women Voters of the Arlington Heights, Mount Prospect, Buffalo Grove area League board values the many skills and types of experience that individual board members bring to the league, including those learned in public life through elective or appointive office. Nevertheless, basic limitations must be placed on current board members' political activity to protect the nonpartisan nature of the organization. Next slide. Elected office, the presiding officer or president shall not run for any partisan elected office, but may run for a nonpartisan elective office with board approval. Other board members shall not run for national or state partisan elective office, but may run for local partisan elective office with board approval. Appointed office, any board member may accept appointment to national, state, or local commissions, boards, or committees where such service will not conflict with league positions. Political party or local caucus, neither the presiding officer nor any member leading, e.g. chair, co-chair, vice chair, voter service activities, shall serve in any position in a political party or local caucus. Other board members may serve in political party or local caucus with board approval. Resignations to run for office. In the event a board member resigns to run for governmental office, the league will release a carefully worded public notice to avoid the appearance of endorsing the candidate. Political campaigns. Neither the presiding officer nor any member leading, e.g. chair, co-chair, vice chair, voter service activities shall chair a political campaign or administer fundraising for a political campaign, chair a campaign event, or be a spokesperson for the campaign of a candidate for a partisan office at any level of government. Other board members may serve in partisan political campaigns with board approval. Campaign contributions. Neither the presiding officer nor any member leading, e.g. chair, co-chair, vice chair, voter service activities shall make campaign contributions to campaigns or candidates for any federal office or to political parties or either other entities contributing to such federal races. Additional clarification. Board members shall present questions about specific situations to the league board where the foregoing policies do not resolve the question. So again, I'm going to put you just in a few minutes into your breakout rooms to discuss. come get me if you need anything, Mama. Did you get your drops in your eyes? There I see Monica now. Hi, Monica. Okay, so we're all coming back now. Does anyone, are we down? Participants can. Okay. All right, so we're to 31 participants, Nancy, at this point. Is there any discussion about the yes, Meow.
Heidi, we've been having conversations about action and advocacy. Do we need to clarify in the initial statement that while League of Women Voters Arlington Heights is nonpartisan, there is an action and advocacy imperative inherent in the League?
I don't think so. But does anybody else disagree? I mean, I think
no, because as long as we advocate on league positions, we're cool.
Yeah.
Here in Illinois, we can advocate on league positions. I think that the issue is you can't speak in the league's name to your federal representatives unless it's a major, one of the policies that they've approved. For example, here in Illinois, we can talk to any of our state representatives about league positions on the Electoral College, because that is an Illinois state league. But the U.S. League frowns on us saying we're representing league if we're talking to them about Electoral College, because right now that is not one of the main, it's not part of the 4 prongs of whatever it's called, just as FYI.
Bill,
but we
do you
can
have
still
your
focus
hand
on.
raised?
Is Peggy done?
I am.
Should we make it clear that the Issues and Advocacy Committee is only supposed to work on the nonpartisan issues as designated by the state or federal level?
Okay, so then the same thing would be, the same thing with this is going to be like with the diversity, that we need someone, and since Karine seems to be so good at it, maybe Karine will make them move. I don't know, that something that we are going to revise it as, to this, because that's probably a good point. Now, I will say, I want to bring something up, and somebody then can tell me if I'm wrong. So as president/presiding officer, I'm definitely part of one of those that's precluded from giving to a political organization or, saying anything partisan. And those of you who know me on social media and other places know I'm really careful. I'm pretty careful. However, I have made it a policy the last 2 years, because I really feel like we need to have relationships with everyone, that I have gone to key Democrat events, and I've gone to key Republican events. So technically, my understanding is that by buying a ticket to these events, I'm essentially donating. So do I need to bring this up with the board, or do I need to stop it? I'm loath to stop it, I'll be honest with you, because I feel like I think the league absolutely has to have those relationships, and you make those relationships by being in the room with them, even if it's virtual or otherwise. The league has never paid for those tickets. I always pay for them.
I believe you did bring it up to us though as a board before you did it.
I did.
Yeah, so I think we already approved it.
Yeah, so they approved it, so that's all I got to worry about. Okay. All right, then we're good. Okay, so then do we have, okay. So do we have a motion then to somehow amend this? Okay, go ahead. Bill, do you have the motion to somebody?
No, I have a comment. Right now, the president and voter services person are those who cannot donate to candidates. During our breakout session, it was brought up whether, let's say, spouses of those people, are they restricted in any way? And I say that because I have donated, and not in my name, not in Lisa's name.
That's right. You're your own person.
All right.
As far as I'm concerned, you're your own person. If I don't want to be connected to what my husband does, I don't think the husband should be connected to the wife, vice versa. Am I right?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, but we still don't have a motion. Nobody's had a motion about how we're revising this nonpartisan policy over the next year to reflect the.
Doesn't the action, isn't that covered in the bylaws? I mean, do we need, I'm not sure that we need to modify this at all.
Yeah.
Gilda, is it covered in the bylaws? Peggy, is it covered in the bylaws? Robin, is it covered in the bylaws?
I don't think this particular policy is.
No, the action policy.
Well, it seems, I would think that just the first sentence covers that the action and advocacy is allowed, may act on governmental measures and policies in the public interest.
Absolutely.
It seems to me that it's covered.
As long
broad.
as
it does say.
We have to support our issues. We can't go against league issues. You can.
Right.
Okay, so then if I don't have any motion to amend this in any way, do I have a motion to accept this nonpartisan policy as presented?
So moved.
Second.
That was Peggy first, or moved, Robin seconded. All those in favor, please use your yes or no if you're a no. If you are on audio only, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, I don't see any opposition. The policy carries. The motion carries. Okay, next is our proposed budget. Now this is too small for you to see on this screen unless you blow it up. But you have been mailed a proposed budget. I will be putting you in rooms if you have any questions. But let's first have a motion to, because really what we're supposed to do is move and then discuss. So I'll try to do this Robert's Rules of Orders correctly. So do I have a motion to accept the budget as proposed? Crickets.
So moved.
Okay, Madeline moves. Do I have a second?
Second.
Diana? Do you pronounce it Chris's?
If it's a good day, yes. Chris's.
Thank you. Seconds. Okay, now discussion. I'm putting you in breakout rooms, please. Goodbye. I hope this is working. Oh, everybody went to the rooms that time. Anything coming up for anyone? Hi, Maggie.
Oh boy, battery's low. Yikes. All right, I gotta.
Who's that?
Pat, my battery's low. I'm gonna run and get a cord.
Okay.
In our breakout session, there's a screen that says League AH. Is that?
I think that's Pat. I don't know who it is. It's not me. Oh.
Okay.
Okay, so we're pretty much all coming back now. So was there any discussion on the budget? All right, all those in favor?
Wait, yes, there
Okay.
was discussion in our group on the budget.
Okay, yes.
There were questions about what those things, the comments on the side, that things that weren't included. I was explaining that those are items that we would like to have, but that we didn't feel we could include, but if we should get funding during the year, we would start doing those expenditures. Is that correct, Heidi? Do you concur?
Yes. Yes.
And we have to realize that with the uncertainty, we really don't know that any of this is going to work out the way we think.
We got a nice upside from COVID, and it's not a nice upside, but that we're not having the convention expenses.
Right.
Budgeted.
Right.
Actually got a positive impact in this year's results because of it. So yes, there could be more.
Yeah.
Right. And it also might change that there'll be other things that are more expensive because we have to do them differently. But
Absolutely.
I think we have to just go with what we can, and as a board, we'll adjust it as we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that anybody who is able to give to our league now, I really encourage you to open your hearts and your wallets. To be honest with you, that $3,500 that we spend to give every kid a birthday envelope, this has been a wildly successful program for us on a number of fronts. And I am concerned, I have been able to fund that, but I am concerned that a lot of the money isn't gonna come this year.
Yeah.
So now I am glad we also had our gala. We were really lucky that our gala came in when it did, because we raised a decent amount of money with that gala, and we have not spent that money. So anyway, But so if I have a motion, so we have the motion, is there any other questions?
I would just also like to make the comment that a budget is a plan, and the plan has to change and adapt based on our circumstances. This budget was done when we had certain assumptions that we had made. Now, you're looking back on it now, should we have made some different ones? Maybe, but we didn't have the information at that time. So I would like to think the membership could trust our board to look at this budget and say, yeah, we planned for that, but that might not be a good idea.
And I will say that I think our you know, we have a fiduciary responsibility, and I think it's important that y'all watch us as a board, especially me. I'm no good with money. And Corrine has made a suggestion that maybe we remove the annual event that is supposed to be a fundraiser. And I will say,
sorry, Heidi, I'm not suggesting that you remove it. I'm just noting that it's there. That's what we talked about in our group, and it's obviously huge. So like, we've had a lot of discussion with my board about whether we formally amend budget or not. And we are formally amending, but some organizations are not.
Yeah.
I do not, do our receipts, is our budget right now relying on that money?
No.
No, that's the difference is even though we are like, yeah, we hope we're going to raise this money, we didn't have expenditures based on any of that money. Does that make sense? So I don't think we need, my opinion is I don't think we need to amend it. But if anyone thinks that we should, then go ahead, make a motion, budget is amended, blah, blah, blah. Otherwise we will vote. Am I right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm not hearing an amendment of any kind. I'm not hearing any more discussion. All those in favor, aye.
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 Or you know, your little check mark, your little yes.
Aye.
And if you can please say aye, or all those opposed, nay. No? Okay, so the motion carries. All right, and I think we've just got one more big thing to do. We're down to 30 participants, by the way. So now what we're going to do is, you don't need to spotlight my video because you've seen me this entire time. I will say, so the proposed slate, so Pat Lind, can we unmute?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, so Pat, I'm gonna let you speak. And then Tracy, can you spotlight people as she talks about them? Okay.
Oh, well, now I gotta, let me go to my, hold on. Hold on, just 1 second. Okay. For President, Heidi Graham, Vice President, Tracy McGonigal, Secretary, Nancy Schrockett, Treasurer, Cynthia Reesing, and Directors, Corrine Fiore, Nancy Jones, Lisa Slankard, and Connie Weissman. Do I need to say anything else?
Yeah, there's other people we vote on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so nominating chair, Pat Lind. Members, Erin Nelkin, board member appointed by the board, Heidi Graham. Bylaws Committee, Chair Gilda Carew, member Robin Lebetz, board member Peggy Pizarnik. Budget Committee, Chair Connie Weissman, member Teresa Gansinger, treasurer ex officio Cynthia Reesing, and respectfully submitted, Pat Lind.
Okay. Actually, no, I'm going to correct you. Sorry, Pat.
Okay.
So the proposed slate for 2021 for those other things, the nominating committee, because you have not said you'll be the nominating committee next year. And I don't have anyone on the slate as a nominating committee chairperson for next year, nor do I have a member. The bylaws committee is Gilda, and I'm pretty sure Peggy and Robin. The committee chair for our budget is Teresa Gansinger, who is one of our board members' daughters, but I think she's working today. And then the member.
She is working today.
Yeah, is ex officio is Cindy, and a member is open because Connie being on the board, she can be on that committee, but we need one more non-board member on that committee. So what I'm asking for here is we need floor nominations for the nominating committee and the chair and members and a budget committee member, or we're going to elect next year's with some open positions.
So are you looking for volunteers right now?
Correct.
Okay, I would volunteer to be the chair for the nominating committee again.
Oh, you would? Okay. So we can change that. By we, I mean Tracy. You like how I do that? By we, I mean someone else, and I'm not going to do it. Do I have anybody who would be willing to be on that committee with Pat? Here's what I will tell you, is that for the last several years, that committee pretty much is handed people to put on the slate.
Heidi, I would be willing to do it. This is Cindy, if I can. Can I?
Yeah, I don't think you can.
Okay, then
My understanding by the bylaws is it needs to be somebody who isn't on the board.
Got it.
Maybe I'll ask, you know who I'll ask? I'm going to ask, unless I get somebody else, I'm going to ask Jane Berman. I think she'd be good for the nominating committee just because she also like tracks our hours. So she starts to see who's like, you know, doing stuff.
Has she left or she's
She
still
had
here?
to leave. She had to leave.
Okay.
So I'll ask her. Also, anybody for the budget committee that's not on the board, any volunteers? Okay. Do I put everybody into breakout? I'm going to put you in breakout rooms for just a minute to discuss, and then I'll bring you back. Whose place has the nice plants?
That's me, and I can't figure out how to switch it back to my picture.
Oh.
How do I do that? I keep pressing on it, but it doesn't give that little.
Okay, so, and I did it again. I messed it up again. We didn't move, and then we're supposed to discuss. So I need a motion to accept the slate as proposed.
Madeline, so moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Marty Landorf seconds. Madeline McCarran moved. Any discussion?
Okay, you still need people added, right?
I do, but they can't be on the board.
I know.
I updated the slide too, so it shows nominating Chair Pat Lind.
Okay.
In our breakout, Heidi, I think, yeah, I am unmuted. It's Peggy here. I said I would work on the budget committee, you know, since it's such a short period of time that they do their work. I could commit to that if no one else wants.
But are you also committing to bylaws? Or you want to be
I
off
can,
bylaws?
but you still, yeah, I can still do, you know, bylaws is also a small period of time.
Okay. But it's the same period of time.
That's all right.
Okay. Doesn't always have to be the same people. That's why we're trying to look for other people.
I'm not a chair. That's
all right, y'all know if we were
job.
in the room together, I'd be walking around the room twisting your arm. Come on now. We need other people. Okay, all right. All right, so then we will put Peggy on budget and hope that Jane Berman accepts my invitation to be on the nominating committee. All those in favor, say, raise your hand, do your yes, or unmute yourself if you're in favor. Aye.
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 If you're opposed, nay. Okay, and it passes. The one thing that I will say is that, and I said this in the letter to the membership, is that this coming year, I plan to continue in the same sort of intense way I have been president for the last several years. But beginning in 2021, fall of 2021, my son, my youngest, will be going to college. I will lose my mind, but I will also be pulling back from league. First of all, I'm planning a very long trip that fall after he goes away to college, where I will not answer emails or do anything. So between now and next annual meeting, I really do hope somebody considers being a co-president with me, because this will be my last term as president. After this term, I will not be president anymore. So it's not that I don't love league. It's just that once my son goes away to college, I think I finally figured out what I want to do sort of in the next chapter of my life. And I don't feel that I could be a good president and follow my heart at that point. So it's not that I won't be a member, but I need to be able to do that. So that's it. That has nothing to do with this. So we move on. And I think, we go to bylaws. We have no amendments to our, to our bylaws. So we get to go right on past this. I will say that I have given our bylaws committee, I have already given them the task of making sure that our bylaws allow for the removal of board members, committee chairs, etc. I think that it's important based on some things that have happened in other organizations and within our own organization at a larger level. And I think that we need, hopefully we're always in our best heart when we come to volunteer. We're 100% volunteer organization, but sometimes people need to be removed. So you all have the proposed program.
Oh, got it.
I am not going to read this. I am just going to put you in your rooms. Tracy, I'm going to put you in the room with Gilda because for whatever reason, she keeps getting muted every time I move her to a room. And hopefully as co-host, you can fix that. Oh, actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make Peggy co-host because you're already in a room with her.
Heidi,
okay.
Heidi, you can also unmute yourself by doing *6.
*6? Okay.
I just unmuted them.
Okay.
So hopefully that'll carry over to the room.
Okay.
Heidi, when do you think you are back from Texas?
Wednesday. Oh, Regina had to leave. Okay. All right, so we're down to 29 participants. So, and I did it again, you guys. Okay, so I need a motion to accept the program as proposed.
Madeline, so moved.
I need a second, please.
I'll second it, Robin.
Okay, so Madeline McCarran has moved to accept the program as proposed, and Robin Lebed has seconded it. Do we have any discussion? No? No discussion? Literally, I hear crickets in the background. No, it's a bird. Somebody's got a bird in the background. That was too funny. Oh my gosh, makes me laugh. Okay, all those in favor?
Wait, Heidi, I have a question.
Okay, yes.
What are the main 4 things that our league wants to work on? Is that the 4 right here? Voting rights, improved elections, money and
politics. Yes.
And other?
Yeah.
What's other?
No, that was that when we got the survey back, that was pretty much it. So nobody knows, be honest with you.
Okay, so it's basically working on voting issues.
Correct, but yeah, which we do.
Okay.
And anyway, so I think that by this time next year, or actually before this time next year, so this is why everybody who's here, next year, when we send out this survey about program and what we want to focus on, this is why we need you to respond to that. We need to know where we want to spend our energy, right? We know we have a strong environmental committee. I think we're going to start calling those interest groups instead of committees, because that's really what it is more an interest group under the political action as a committee. But anyway, so as you get used to sort of the league lingo and all this other stuff, this is it. One of the things that I sent you today in your email was your booklet, a digital version, and then if you request a hard copy, and I will say, I do like having my hard copy. I know it's not necessarily environmentally friendly, but I refer to this so often that it makes it so much easier for me to have it as a hard copy. And we're really lucky that Connie Weissman gives that out. But this year in this booklet, I put in definitions, so we know what the definitions are. So anyway, so I need everybody to vote on our proposed program. All those in favor, either yes or no. Let's see.
Heidi, this is Peggy.
Yeah.
You know, just as information, I went back and looked at the survey, and we did have folks who were interested in things like climate change, redistricting, money in politics, and voting rights, which I think climate change is the only other thing that is the other. That.
Yeah. Okay, so then okay, so let's take this off the table. Let's take this off the table. Maybe we need an amendment to this motion to add climate change to our proposed program. Do I have anyone who's going to?
I move to add climate change instead of other. Lisa.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Regina seconds. Okay, so all those in favor of our proposed program as presented and amended to include climate, aye or yes. All those opposed?
Heidi, we did not approve the amendment.
Oh, we didn't? Okay, so how do I do that, Bill?
Just vote on it. Ask for a vote for the amendment, and then ask for a vote on the motion.
Okay, so we are voting on the amendment to the proposal to have climate change be part of our proposed program. All those in favor, aye. Good grief, I'm sorry.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you, Bill, for catching me. Okay, now we are voting on the proposed program. All those in favor, aye, or yes, or hand, or whatever. And then
aye.
All those,
aye.
All those opposed? Okay, so the motion for our proposed program, as well as the amendment to the proposed program to include climate, passes unanimously. Okay. So the next thing is that. So now, but we can adjourn the actual meeting, and then I just have some more kind of like fun introductory stuff that I would really like to do, but I would like to adjourn the actual meeting so that poor little Nancy can stop taking notes. So do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Madeline, so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Diana seconds. Madeline McCarran moved. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
What about bylaws?
No, there were no proposed bylaws changes, so we don't have anything to vote on.
But this is Gilda. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I did want to make a note that if anybody has any recommendations for bylaws, that they should get in touch with me, because I know that, you know, there's been some discussion of whether we need to make some changes in case we have other pandemics or emergencies and things like that, so that, you know, if you do have any thoughts on that, let me know, and, you know, we'll get that on the list.
Yeah.
And is an officer removal one of those things that we would like the bylaws committee to look at?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was one of them too. Yeah, because there is a provision. There's only for the board. There's currently, you know, if somebody misses 3 meetings without letting someone know, but there's nothing else. So yeah.
Okay. So all those in favor of adjourning the meeting? Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure that I have you all here, all 28 of you now. We keep losing people, but I understand. I apologize that we went much later than I anticipated. I do apologize for that. But 12:45 to 3 o'clock for an annual meeting that included a guest speaker isn't too bad. I don't think that's too bad. Basically, everybody understands, hopefully, and I didn't understand this when I first joined, that you're a member of your local league. That's probably obvious to you here that you're here. But you're also a member of what are called inter-league organizations. One is our Lake Michigan region that covers our water, which is so important, as highlighted by our guest speaker today. And the other one is the Upper Mississippi River region. And that's essentially our groundwater. So again, super, super important. Also, you're a member of the Cook County League. Karen Rebar, who is one of our members, is one of the co-presidents. They're an amazing, amazing organization. I've looked to them a lot in the last several years about how we can better organize ourselves as a league to do our work better. And then you're a member of the Illinois League and the National League. So, couple of things. We do have a national convention. Well, not quite yet, Bill. Okay, so let's go over a couple of people. So on our organizational chart, let's go to the next thing. Okay, I want you to look at operations. So we're lucky that, you know, we need members. To do our work, we need members. And right now we do not have a membership chair. That is me. I've been, you know, mostly doing that. And I've been very lucky that Madeline McCarran has offered to come on and sort of help with onboarding, because I think we were losing some members. They couldn't figure out how League worked. And I think Madeline's been helpful with that. Our diversity, equity, and inclusion could use some help. We're lucky with our promotional materials. We have a professional who helps with that. I wish she were here today so you could meet her. You know, Barb Sabai, can everybody see Barb? So why don't we stop sharing this for a minute and highlight some people, Tracy? So Barb. Oh, we're supposed to introduce our board. Oh, no, we already did that. We already introduced the board, right? But the one new person, there's Barb. So Barb does our roster for us. She makes sure that we have everything in alignment. We love her. She's super funny and just a good time. You know me. Okay, so let's, Corrine, let's highlight Corrine Fior. She is a new member and is also new to our board.
Okay, hi everybody. Nice to meet you all virtually. Someday I'll meet you in person, I hope. I am a native Washingtonian, and I've only been in Illinois for a few years. I live in Arlington Heights in a Brady Bunch house that my husband and I built for our blended family. So I have, as of a week from today, officially 4 teenagers in the house. So if I'm incoherent in this year, I apologize in advance. I also, in my day job, I run a nonprofit called Chat. We do life-changing speech therapy, now all teletherapy, and advocacy for children with communication and cognitive disorders. And we work in schools and centers all across the state. I used to practice law. did big fancy deals and all sorts of stuff. But as a mom, I had to become an advocate for one of my children, and it changed my life. And so now I get to do this for my day job. But I got connected with Heidi a couple of different ways, actually. And you can't say no to her really well. And I'm coming off a different board role, so it worked out, and I hope I can be helpful to this organization.
Yeah, we're so lucky to have you. Okay, so we've Tracy, if she'll highlight herself, remember she's our vice president. She's awesome. No, Tracy. Oh, I'm the host now.
I can't highlight myself.
Oh, okay. There she is. There's Tracy. Okay, and then we have Connie Weissman. She has been with our league a long time. Last year, she was the recipient of basically what I would call our league gem. It wasn't official then, so this year I tried to make it a little bit more official for her so she could remember that she's always our league gem. She basically keeps us, she's our resident historian, so she gives us sort of a perspective, a historical perspective of league as we do our work. Because we are really, sorry, Peggy, love you. We are really a new board. Let's see. Cindy Rising does not have video on, but she's our treasurer. And she does an amazing job. Let's see. What the heck is going on here? Let me see. Nancy Jones is on our board, and Nancy really helps with our communications. So underneath communications, we've got our newsletter, we've got our social media, we have, and without communicating what we're doing, if we're not communicating what we're doing, we might as well just be lost. So we really appreciate Nancy. And then we have, where'd she go? Nancy Shockett, who is our secretary. And so she keeps track of my ramblings, and I really appreciate it. And she's another person that I really just arm twisted to be on the board, but I'm always glad to see her. So she's a fun person to be around. And then we have Lisa Slankard, who's also on our board, but Lisa heads up our voter services. So voter services encompasses for our league quite a bit. We have candidate forums that Connie is on with Mary. Why did I just have a brain breakdown?
Allen.
Mary Allen, thank you very much. I don't know what happened to my brain. I'm so sad she's not here, but she also has a parent with dementia. And so I'm sure that this is a hard time for her. But Lisa, what else do you head up as terms of voter services?
Voter registrations, mock elections.
Birthday envelopes.
Birthday envelopes. And I think you have strolled to the polls under me, but I've never done anything with it.
Yes. Well, because we are quite capable. So now I just want to highlight a couple of people who, let me see, where'd she go? Did she have to leave? Here we go. More. Okay. So this is Emily Lasky. Emily is one of our new emerging leaders. She's so, how cute is she? I can't even stand myself.
Stop, I look crazy right now.
Okay, so Emily, tell us about yourself and what you're doing for us.
Okay, so I'm a rising junior, I guess, at the University of Kansas. And for the league, I've had the opportunity to kind of help with the social media. Obviously, they have a really, really great social media team already, but I've kind of gotten to come on and do the Women Crush Wednesdays, if you guys see those, and then implement some other like cute little things. And I've recently started helping with the student account too. So yeah, we kind of have been just trying to make the social media a little bit more engaging, like shareable, I guess. And yeah, I love it. It's so fun. Oh, and
so what do you want to ask our members to do when it comes to our posts? When they see our posts, what should they be doing?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, do you want them to like it, love it, share it?
Yeah, so if you guys are on Instagram, I feel like the thing that's helped us really get our engagement up is when members individually share posts to their story. just because it draws a lot of attention. But if you guys are just on Facebook, then just every post, if like, it doesn't have to be every single one, but if you really connect with one or you really like the story of one, to share it would be so huge. Just because that, the more eyes that get on our posts, like I care a lot more about engagement than like necessarily likes or anything like that. We just want obviously eyes on what we're doing. So yeah, if you guys can just share things when it comes your way or when you connect with it, that would be amazing.
Thank you so much. Okay, so next I want to, because we have an event coming up. So Lucy Nisi, many of you, I've been talking about her for so many years now. She's one of my all-time favorite people in the world, even though she refuses to call me anything but Mrs. Graham. Anyway, so I want her to tell you a little bit about what she is doing for us, which is a couple of different things.
Sure. Hi, I'm Lucy. The pronouns I use are she, her, hers, and that's important because I'm very excited to be leading the planning for the League's presence in the BG Pride Drive this year. And I'll explain that a little bit because I think that's the sort of biggest thing I'm working on right now. And then I'm also going to be working on the student newsletter as well. So with Pride parades being canceled this year, including the Buffalo Grove Parade that we were a part of for its first year in 2019, this event is going to be a safe alternative to celebrate the LGBTQIA+ folk in our suburban community. So that's really exciting. In the drive, which is going to be from 12 to 3 on Saturday, June 6th, houses along this route that they've planned out will be decorated. They're going to play music. They're going to host really fun, no contact, very safe activities. People will be passing by in like cars or on foot. And the League is in contact with one of the homeowners. So we're planning our own house to sort of both represent the organization and also just celebrate because it's a great moment in the year for both just everyone and activists. I'm working for our display to incorporate both the voter registration and League-related aspects that are really important to all of us, as well as educational activities on both LGBT issues and environmental issues, because that's just, really on topic, and they're also often very intertwined. I'm really excited to be working on this because all of those issues are very important to me, and I guess sort of lastly, we would love to have as many people come to the drive as possible, so if you or anyone you know would be interested, please let them know. Get as many people as you can to come. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, my name is Lucy, and I can answer all of your questions about both the BG Pride Drive itself, as well as anything Pride or LGBTQIA+ related. Feel free to reach out to me at any time.
Thank you. And I should have introduced myself that way as well, with my pronouns are she, her, hers. This is the thing that I know, is that I am privileged. Definitely. I have so much privilege. And so if I normalize my pronouns, saying my pronouns, it makes it much easier for a person who doesn't have the same kind of privilege that I have as a white, cisgendered, upper middle class woman. So we encourage everybody to put that on your emails, to start introducing yourself that way. And these young people are going to be helping to remind us. And I like that they do it in a way that I don't feel shamed. Anyway, one of the things, Bridget had to leave the meeting early, but she's another emerging leader who's working on our student newsletter. She's going to start doing some writing for us for our main newsletter. She's working on environmental posts. She's very interested in the environment. And one of the things that we're working on is like a community, is we have Bridget lives in my neighborhood, and our neighborhood's super well organized. And we're going to try in our neighborhood to get a neighborhood-wide composting thing going. And then as a league, we're going to kind of take some of the lessons that we learn as a neighborhood and try to push it out. But that's going to be one of our activities or displays at the Pride Drive, is about composting. Right, Lucy? Yes. So anyway, keep that in mind. I also want you to, I want to spotlight now Mary. Mary is on 2 things, but I'm going to have you talk about political action, because then I want to spotlight Cindy to talk about Stroll the Poll.
Sure. So I am new to the league, and I'm she. I'm not really sure the combo, but I'm a she, her, hers. Is that right? Mm-hmm. We are working with a variety of people on putting together a committee That is, we had started to call it the Political Action Committee, but I think we were told we can't use political, so we're changing it to Action and Advocacy. And Mindy Young is the other co-chair. She did quite a lot of work talking to a lot of different people about what this committee should be about and what needs, requirements it could serve. And we met this week to talk through the results of that, those interviews, and to start developing a mission statement about what this actions and advocacy team could be. And we're just continuing to work on that, and we're putting together a roles and responsibilities document, and we'll be talking about that next Friday. So if any of you are interested in participating in defining actions and advocacy, please reach out to me or Mindy, and we can include you in those discussions.
Thank you so much. One of the things that I want to, and Mindy's not here today, but Mindy and Mary both have been, their organization is so amazing. But what it's done is it's actually highlighted ways in which we were deficient in other areas of our league. And I'm really grateful, because we can't grow and learn if we're not figuring out where we're deficient. And I certainly, as a leader, I don't want a bunch of sycophants around me telling me that everything is great all the time. I want to know when we have deficiencies so that we can be better. And one of the things that has come up with some of the interviews is that it's quite obvious that our league currently, if you are not a self-starter, and not everybody is a self-starter, and that's fine, right? But right now, our league doesn't really function very well if you need more guidelines to work and do your best work. And so that's one of the things that Mindy and Mary are really helping us with, is making a situation in which we're good for self-starters, but we're also good for people who need more guidelines. And I really appreciate that. I think it's going to make us better. Now, the next person I want to highlight is, now Tracy, you don't have a video, so I can't highlight your video, but I want you to talk about voter registration.
Hi, yeah. So I've lost my co-leader, Anne, who was really the heart of the system. So I'm kind of learning as I go as the sole co-chair right now. But I am, we're looking at doing some virtual things for the fall with the schools and with other things. I'm meeting with a gentleman from a company called Right Start that's going to help us more with some virtual things, just trying to figure out ways to continue with our voter registration duties and services in this new situation that we're in, and try to still reach as many people as we possibly can, even if it's not in person.
So many of you know that Anne Greenstein had been leading our voter registration committee for a number of years, but she's moved to the city permanently and sold her suburban house. And so she's still sort of around, but Tracy is amazing. But I will say, no one person can do voter registration for all 6 communities that we cover. So she really does need a co-chair. So if that's something you think you're interested in, I'm going to encourage you to kind of step up. So the next person that I want to highlight is, where'd you go? Why can't I see everybody? There you are. So Miel is starting or helping us with what I think is amazing, which is Observer Corps.
Observer Corps sounds very much like what it is. It is, and I'm sorry, this is the exact moment that my children have decided over the last couple of hours to be loud, so I apologize. Observer Corps is a group of people who observe local government meetings, which doesn't sound all that interesting to begin with, but we are an input into action and advocacy, which Mary Hahn was talking about. And it is our responsibility to highlight issues that are coming up in the local community so that we can engage members to take action on them. And right now we are well covered. Charlie, thank you. We are well covered in Arlington Heights, but we are always looking for more people. So if you are interested in being an observer, please contact me. We would be very excited to have you come join us. It is not a significant time commitment. I am an observer for School District 25 in Arlington Heights, and it is about an hour out of my life once a month.
Thank you. The other thing everybody should note is that Miel has really engaged, not just at our local level, but at the state level. She recognized, because of her expertise and her background, that there were some gaps in the training that was coming from the state level. And she was just really kind and giving with the state level in giving them some input in how they could make that better. And I think that we're all going to benefit from that. And then, Regina, no, I don't. Regina, are you still here? I don't think she's here anymore. Okay.
I am. I'm here.
Oh, but no video. Do you have video?
Should be.
This is where I go, huh, am I? My son would be losing his mind at me right now. Okay, well, Regina, just go ahead and talk while I try to find you and spotlight you.
Oh,
there you go.
So basically okay. So I head out environmental committee, and I would say my main focus has been on climate change. But we have a very broad committee with many different interests. So Mindy had contacted me as far as how we will work together with action and advocacy. And now that there's change in leadership in the voter registration, I want to make sure that we are plugged in, because obviously from today's talk, we do want to create climate voters.
Thank you. We're so lucky to have Regina. We love her so much. I love her so much. I think she has done so much. Many of you know that we, at our 100th anniversary gala this year, which I had such a great time at, I'm gonna tell you, I hope we get to do it again. Something not quite so big, because that almost killed me, but something celebratory every year. But we started a new award called the Pat Lindner Award. Pat Lindner has been with our league for over 60 years. She is a true inspiration. And so we named an award for her for our 100th anniversary, and Regina was the first recipient of that award. To get that award, you have to be working on an issue, a key issue for league in an impactful way. And you also have to bring other new members to the organization, and also have to be creating new partnerships for our league, which Regina definitely has done all of those things. And then I don't think, oh, I love that Barbara changed her name and included her pronouns. Go Barb. I told you I love Barb. Okay. Now, Cindy, you knew it was coming to you, Cindy. Cindy has is one of our co-chairs with Mary Hahn for our stroll to the polls, and just kick ass. I don't know what else to say.
Oh, well, you're too kind, but it's been, this year is going to be a challenge, I think, for us with everything going on with COVID, but basically we're just involving students and knocking on doors in communities and trying to get people out to vote and increase voter registration. So it is going to be a challenge. We don't even really know exactly how that's going to work this year, but Mary has been huge in just organizing everything that we're trying to do and trying to make it make sense. And she's also just been a big help from, I'm just struggling with food this week. I'm on a plant-based diet, and it's just been, work has been horrible, and trying to meal plan And I'm like, Mary, I need help. And, you know, she came through for me with some amazing recipes. So she's been a great person to work with, and I'm really looking forward to see how this all works out for us this year.
Yeah. So I think maybe we should take the idea of sharing plant-based recipes. I don't know that we're going to be able to do this in person. Maybe we should do this remotely. I think that should be our an event that we plan. I'll talk to maybe Bridget. I know Regina got her hands full being a medical practitioner in this time, so maybe Bridget can plan that. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. So am I forgetting anyone? Am I forgetting anyone? I do not. I think all of the people who are here at the meeting who are doing particularly meaningful work, but what I think is great is that all of our meaningful work is being represented. And I am particularly grateful for League. I will say, when I talk about being able to, oh, I know, Madeline, are you here still? Did she leave? Madeline McCarran, did she leave? Yeah, I think she did. Anyway, so she's helping with membership, but she spoke a couple times. So hopefully everybody knows what she looks like and who she is. But when I talk about being able to pursue this next sort of phase of my life, having been a stay-home mom for over 20 years and loving that job, I have loved it. And it has been the hardest thing in my life to have to give that up when my kid's going away to college. But I know that I would not have been able to figure out kind of what I want to do if it weren't for League. I have such an amazing place in my heart for League. So when I say I'm not going to be president, it does not mean that I'm leaving, that I'm up, you know, none of that. I love this organization so much. It is why, you know, when we introduce all of these people, you have to realize how strong we are. I mean, we do amazing work. When we make a phone call, people pick up. When we say we have an idea for something we want to do, they pay attention, they listen, they make room for us. All of the things that we're doing in District 214 with our birthday envelopes and all of that stuff, we don't get to do it without all of these people. It can't be done by one person. Two people, so birthday envelopes was not represented here today. That's huge. You know, we give every kid in District 214 in St. Viator a gift on their voting birthday. And also mock elections. Mock elections coming up this fall. You know, this is another way for us to reach not just students right before they vote or as they're voting, but really young kids, you know, in libraries and elementary schools. But again, we can't represent, it can't be one person doing all 6 of those communities. That's a lot of school districts. So we really need more people to step up for mock elections. Stacy does an amazing job for us, but she cannot do it on her own. So she needs a co-chair. So those are the places. I hope you've seen where we're strong, and I hope you see where we might be able to use some help, and that where you might have, where you might think, hey, you know what? That fits in with my skill set. And I would like to do that. One of the things that, and I'm going to name her right here, Cindy has said to me a lot. She says, you know what? Sometimes work sucks, but I always love what I get to do with League. And I think a lot of people feel that way. It fills them in a different way. And we are all volunteers. And so we all just have to be kind and caring and loving towards one another, because what? Progress, not perfection. So anyway, thank you. Unmute yourself, talk. It's so good to see you all. I'm not going to end the meeting.
Good to see you, Heidi. Great meeting. Way to go. We love you.
Sorry it went so long.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Would have been better if I had had wine, so.
Oh, you could have had wine. You got a wine.
I know. I just forgot to open a bottle and get going, and it's more fun to share it with people in public, you know, together. So.
That is true.
Okay. Take care. Have a safe trip home, Heidi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
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 So Regina, every time I tried to chat you, it wouldn't let me chat you. But I will say Bridget and Emily are working together on a series of environmental posts. Bridget's also working on some pieces, writing some pieces for the environment for us that of course I will share with you before I publish them. But she's super passionate. So.
I'm sorry, it's me again, but Regina and I've been involved in the watershed thing, and Liz LaPlante is going to do some stuff for the parade that's going to be for watershed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
if not, I have a little, if that's going to be too much, I have a little water thing that we could do if necessary.
Yeah, it's just got to be, that's a real challenge that it's, you know, contact free.
Yeah, so.
I saw your emails. And Liz emailed me too. So
good.
You know me,
Good.